Thank you for listening to the Golden Hour Drip podcast with me, Logan Lee Miller. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Golden Hour Drip podcast. I'm your host, Logan Lee Miller, and today, this entire weekend has been very housewife-esque, I guess. I've taken it slow. I have done all the things that I wanted to do last weekend, this weekend. If you listen to last week's episode on our mini drip that Friday, I said I was going to have a slow weekend. It did not happen. It was very busy because I had to go to Des Moines, all the things. You can listen to that catch up on last week's episode. But all the things that I had in mind for myself last weekend, I did this weekend. So nothing. Literally, if it did not spark my curiosity or my interest to be creative, I didn't do it, okay? I was very strictly just whatever was gonna make me happy. So let's see, all day Saturday, all afternoon actually. Let's start in the morning, okay? I woke up. I had a very slow sleep-in day. So I got up, 7-ish. And I remembered that we have a farmer's market every single weekend. I've not been to a farmer's market all freaking year. That is disastrous. I love farmer's markets. I actually had an internship at one of our local farmers market when I was in college, okay? I love a farmer's market. I love seeing everybody there in their little booths, and if they have honey, if they have crafts, if they have, baked bread or goods or meat, whatever it is, a farmer's market is that is the epitome of a slow, beautiful weekend, right? That to kick it off, it's one of the most amazing things to be able to just walk around, look at the vendors, and pick up stuff that are just beautiful, it might not have been on your grocery list, but it's something that you wanted. It's something that was going to make you happy. I ended up picking a bouquet of flowers. They're stunning. It was a mix of zinnias, and then it had red clover in it. And then a few other things that I need to look up. I need to do the reverse Google image thing so that I can see what they are. I'm hopeful maybe I can save seeds from these flowers and I can plant them in my little patch by my house, because this year my zinnias took off. They're big, they're beautiful, they're bold, and I love the zinnia bouquets. I love a wild looking bouquet, or I like it when they're all matching. So tulips are my absolute favorite flower. I love tulips, and I love a tulip bouquet when they're all uniform, when they're all pink or they're all white, all red, whatever it is. I just think they look so elegant. If it is not springtime and I cannot have tulips, I want a mixed flower bunch. But I don't like the green, I don't know. It's very specific. It is your farmer's market bouquet that I am after. It is beautiful. They have very long stems, and I don't know. It's just beautiful. So I picked up a bouquet for myself. I absolutely love it. It is all the things. I'm hopeful to save some seeds so I can put them in my little flower patch. And then I also picked up a new mug. Fall is around the corner, baby. I will be drinking hot coffee soon enough, which reminds me, Friday, I went grocery shopping for miscellaneous things, and I picked up a teapot. Growing up, we had a tea kettle and we used it often. My mom would every once a month, that 1 week, she would need a hot pad. So instead of having an electric one, we had this big rubber water, I forget what it's called, but it's basically a vessel that you fill with boiling water. It's rubber, and then you put it on the back of your head, or you put it on your abdominal, and if you have your period, whatever, So we would fill this with hot water when my mom got a headache, and then of course us girls used it our time of the month. So I love that thing. But we also made tea with the kettle. And there's just something so romantic about a tea kettle. And for the last 3 summers we've lived here, because it hasn't been quite 3 years if we moved to our house in February, but this is the 3rd summer. So I know you don't normally drink tea in the summertime, but for the amount of time we've lived in this house, I have been boiling water in a saucepan. It is not as cute. It really isn't. Like, there's a little spout on my saucepan, but it's not a teapot. And I really want the teapot. So I picked up a teapot. It's super cute. It's like this little teal color. And I picked up some tea as well. I made it not a priority. I told Garrett, I made a statement. I drew the line in the sand, if you will. And I told him, we will not be buying any mugs from Marshall's or from a big department store. We are done with that. We will not be ordering mugs. I don't care how cute they are. I just find that they're too commercial. I don't like them. I want something that is unique. I want pottery mugs. I want someone who has poured their passion into this mug, right? Like, we should be supporting the artists. We should be supporting the people who are honing their craft and who have like spent hours on making sure that their clay is even on their spinning wheel and not wobbly and not broken. Like, that is way more important than a machine that has rolled out the same cat mug 10,000 or whatever. I want something unique. I want something that's special, and I want to have a story behind each mug that we pick up. Starting off our collection, my mother-in-law picked up 2 mugs for Christmas. Garrett has this tall brown and sand color mug, very beautiful. And then I got this light green, and it looks like the print on it, it's kind of like diagonal, but it almost looks like a leaf, but not a leaf. It's abstract for sure. It's short, it's cute, I love it with all my heart, and that is what kicked off our little mug collection. This past weekend at the farmer's market, I picked up a new mug to go in our little collection of 2. Now we have 3, and I'm so excited. This mug is very lightweight. Sometimes I feel like the mugs can get a little heavy, which I love a sturdy, big mug, but it can be a little heavy. And if you listen to Friday's episode, you know that I have tight elbows now and my wrists are loose. So maybe it would be better if I had heavy mugs to strengthen my wrist. But sometimes I get tired. Sometimes it's a different look. Like, there's not one good thing over another. Like, my small green mug is light enough, but like Garrett's mug is pretty hefty. This mug is a little bit lighter and it's more round. Garrett's is really tall and mine's kind of short, like a teacup almost. It's a different shape altogether. It is a golden color. It is beautiful. But I was talking to the woman who made the pottery, and I just absolutely fell in love with this mug. It also has on the handle a place for your thumb. It's so cute. And as we go into these colder, no, I'm just kidding. It was 103 today. It was boiling hot. And this weekend I'm going to Scottsdale, Arizona. So better get used to this heat. But I'm preparing, right? And I want to look back this fall and think, oh, I'm going to get the mug that I got at the farmer's market this past summer, right? Like, that's cute. That's beautiful. I love it. That is all the aestheticness. And it puts a little pep in my step. It's very fun. So I picked up a bouquet and I picked up a new mug. And then Friday I picked up a teapot. So there is definitely hot beverages in my future. I'm so excited. But went to the farmer's market. It was so nice and honestly relaxing. Later that afternoon, after the farmer's market, I came home And I was kind of in that state where you're a little tired, but you know that sleep would not be good for you, right? Like, I love a weekend nap. They are my favorite things. They're so important. They're a staple. But it was the kind of tired that I wasn't actually tired. I was more bored. I wasn't, like, it was kind of in between, like, am I actually tired? Am I just bored? Or have I been in this like slow motion to where I don't know if, like, which direction to go, right? So I made some fridge pickles, which we have had these for the past 2 weeks in a row. My cucumbers are producing perfectly. And I have been like cutting all the little cucumbers, mixing red apple cider vinegar and regular vinegar with a little bit of sugar and a lot of pepper with sliced onions. That's fridge pickles. They are so good, and we've been eating them nonstop. They're so good. So I made some fridge pickles. It's low effort, right? Like, it's really easy. It doesn't take that much effort, but I was gaining momentum. I was doing something. I was moving my my body, but it wasn't work, right? Like, I wanted to have a productive weekend in the way that I was being restful, but I wasn't being sluggish, right? Like, I still wanted to have a good active weekend, but I did not want to kind of fall into this, oh my gosh, it has to be 100%, I have to clean, I have to be productive, I have to do this, I have to do that. No. Like, I just wanted to, like, be content, if you will. I just wanted to be content with whatever activity I had in front of me. So I sliced up some pickles, I made some fridge pickles, and then as I was gaining momentum, we had picked up like blueberries and I had cherries. I love having fresh fruit in the fridge during the summertime because, one, it's in season, two, it's so good to snack on, and I love snacking on fruit, right? Like putting it in yogurt or having it with whipped cream. Like, those are so good. But I had some fruit in the fridge that was starting to not go bad. But you know, after just a few days of being in your fridge, sometimes strawberries can look a little bruised. And then my cherries were also, like, I had one bag in there. It was half full, but I had one bag in there that had been in there for a week and a half. Like, she was also starting to bruise. And I don't want to throw this fruit away. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, but it needs to be sliced up. It cannot be like eaten whole because you need to cut out the bad spots. And since our Garrett's family celebration, so we were celebrating his grandparents' birthday, it was supposed to be for Saturday, but it got switched to Sunday. I was like, you know what, like, they're hosting it, I want to bring something, right? And with all the fruit in the fridge, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make some pies. And guys, I made pies from, let's see, I put my first rolled dough in the fridge by 4 p.m. So it probably took me 20 minutes. I started around the 3 o'clock hour to get the dough complete, right? I made, let's see, 4 or 5 batches of dough. And the first batch of dough went into the fridge because it has to chill for 1 hour. It went in the fridge at 4 o'clock. And I did not finish pie making until 10 p.m. on Saturday night. And that was perfect to me. Like, I wanted to be like using my brain, but I wanted to be doing something that was going to be good for my heart, good for my soul, right? So I baked pies all Saturday afternoon, and it was so much fun. I watched Netflix. I've been watching Gilmore Girls, and it was contentment. Like, it was pure contentment. I was so happy with, one, I finally perfected my pie crust recipe. So she's complete. I have a standard pie crust recipe. I am so happy, could not be more thrilled. And now I'm working on my actual pies. I have my apple, I made a few different pies. So I made an apple pie, which I've dabbled in apple pie for the past 2 years now, and I'm pretty good at apple pie. I made blueberry pie, which was my second blueberry pie of my life. I had made a blueberry pie like a few weeks, like a week or so before. Blueberry pie is my favorite pie to make. You cannot like tell me any different. I love blueberry pie because it is so easy. Then I made strawberry pie, which I've never made strawberry pie before either. And strawberry pie, the first one was totally not set. The second one did a little bit better. I still have like so much to learn with strawberry pie, but there's no deadline on these things, right? Like I am allowed to try and have hobbies that might not be perfect. And I think for myself, I sometimes put too much pressure on being perfect or having something excellent or just so or this way or that way because it's society or it's these things that I put in myself, this pressure for no reason other than I feel like I have to do it. But with baking or being in the kitchen or even canning, like I'm not proving anything to anyone. The only person that whose opinion even remotely matters would be Garrett's, and that's because I feed him all the things that I make, and I'm hopeful that they are good or bad. Like, but I need constructive criticism, right? I need someone to try my disasters, but I don't have it. It's not a competition. I'm not doing it to compete. And there are so many things in my life that I feel like I have to do to compete or have to do because of this or because of my timeline or because of the pressure I put on myself. But this is something that there is no pressure. And who cares? Like I have made many bad pie before and I will probably make many more to come. That's just about trying new things, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but you have the opportunity to try again tomorrow. And I was just perfectly content with making my pies. The strawberry pie, I know that I have a lot of effort to go into it. I also think that a pretzel crust would be so good, but I've never made a pretzel crust. I don't know how that would work, so that's something I could try. Like there's just an excitement, and even if you don't like pie making or you don't like baking or anything, you should find something that you crave to do, and it can be so simple. It does not have to take a lot of money. I feel like sometimes I get so caught up in that hobby that I just like want to buy the things that go along with the hobby, and I don't actually have the love or the passion for the thing, right? And I think on another hand, that is okay too, because you're allowed to try new things. You're allowed to be excited about, getting new running shoes to do the running thing, or to buy a new like pie crust mat so you can roll out your pie crust. It is going to be unique to you and unique to your passions and what you like to do. And I was really enjoying the pie making. So I finished up around 10. The other pie that I made was a cherry pie. And I've never made a cherry pie before. I do not have a cherry pitter. So I was cutting them with my knife and then pulling and plucking all of the pits out. I swear, like actually it's my left thumb is dyed from the cherry pit. It goes on to like the tomato girl, or you're either a tomato girl or a where they put, it's like a tomato aesthetic, or a cherry girl where you like take a cherry, you bite into it, you rub it on your lips, you rub it on your cheeks, and like it gives you this perfect blush or whatever. So that's what I felt like as I was peeling these cherries. But it was really, really fun for me to just cut up this fruit and try different varieties of pie. I watched Gilmore Girls, and it was honestly like a very relaxing, but also like mind stimulating weekend. I didn't have any pressures. I didn't have any deadlines. I didn't have anything that was making me do it. It was truly for the love of it, and also just like kind of hanging out with myself, like doing something that I would like just because I would like it. So I definitely enjoyed the pie making. And then Sunday, I got to pick up peaches. I got 2 bushels of peaches, which I am hopeful that my aunt will take one of the bushels so that she can make her her jam or whatever. But I'm really excited to can some jam and to also make some peach salsa. I made some last summer, just like an impromptu. We had jalapenos and onions, and I put it with some jam, and that was extra good. So it's just like these little hobbies that make me so happy, and also just like bring some like creativity into my life. So it was a very like calming, relaxed weekend, which brings me to this week's episode's peaks and pits. So I'm gonna start with the pit of my week because I made all these pies, right? And I had like a bunch of pie crust left over. So I made these mini little pies in my ramekin bowls. So they're like these little bowls. Usually people put like their individual creme brulees in them. It was a very simple pie. Like it was just the scraps, and I lined the bottom of the pie with the leftover pie crust. I threw in some peach jam from last year, and then I just like crisscrossed some leftover lattice work from my apple pie. I also made an apple pie, if I forgot to mention that. And I put those in the oven, let them cook. They were like perfect looking. I left them out over the counter to cool, and I completely forgot that we have had an invasion of ants. You've got to be kidding me. Here he was like, oh, like they'll be fine on the counter, like Rooster and Rowdy are in their crates, like this is not gonna be a big deal. I wake up to a million, I'm paraphrasing, or hyperbole, I'm not sure what it is. Exaggerating, I'm exaggerating, but there was tons of these little speckled bodies all over my peach mini pies. I've never been so angry in my life. I literally raged a war on them. I was wiping them up. Like I completely forgot that we had a few ants come in, okay? Like I had set some plants outside and then I brought them in. I think one of them had an ant nest in them. I'm pissed, okay? I hate these ants and I kind of feel bad, but I was Googling ways to get rid of ants, and they said if you mix powdered sugar with baking soda, the ant cannot tell the difference between the baking soda and the powdered sugar, and the baking soda basically kills them. But they will take the baking soda and they not only will eat it, but they will bring it to their colony or their nest and let everybody else eat it, and they say it's slower, but it will kill them all. So I kind of felt bad. Not really, I did not feel that bad. I slaved over those pies. So I took some powdered sugar and I mixed it up with some baking soda, and I at first had it in this little bowl, and then they weren't I didn't see them attacking it like they were attacking my pies. So I literally took my fingers and I stuck them in and I dredged it across my oven. And so it literally looks like a Coke line, and I peer at the ants and I see them take little powdered sugar and baking soda mix, and they take it down the cabinet. I'm like, that's right. Can't wait for you guys to perish. And that might be cruel of me, but I just this morning waking up to those ants in my pie, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I was so distraught. So I'm hopeful that we can get rid of these ants very soon. They're so small, they are the smallest little ants, but there is many of them, and I don't know where they're coming from. I took my plants that were inside, I took them back outside, and I'm over these ants. I'm gonna start pouring boiling water down our sinks. I don't know where they're coming from, but I'm tapping out. So that was my pit of the week. And then my peak of the week, this might seem a little strange, but this past Monday, I decided to delete all the social media apps off my cell phone, except for Threads, okay? I did not delete Threads, and bear with me as I tell you why. The social media apps. I love social media with all my heart. I think we all do, okay? It is so fun to be in other people's lives, right? It is so fun to see what other people do. But I just felt very unproductive in the past week, like the week before this week, if you will. The week before the week of my social media cleanse. Does that make sense? Are you following? Okay, so I just was kind of fed up at myself. I had become distracted with a few things and I hadn't gotten my stuff done. And I feel like we're all children at heart, right? Like I feel like a teenager. I feel like I'm 16. I feel like I am still teaching myself how to be a proper adult. I'm still teaching myself to have risk and reward. That's not it either. But like there's work to do and you gotta do the work or you're gonna be sent to bed, right? So I feel like I am parenting myself in some ways, especially as I navigate adulthood, right? Like there's nobody to tell you what to do when you're an adult. You have to be your own dictator. That's the first word that comes to my head, but you have to be your own person to set the boundaries and to follow through with your wants and your needs. You have to be the one to stop yourself from doing something that might be slowly destroying you, or make yourself do something that is really, really good for you and you should be doing it, right? We all have these things that we should be doing and sometimes we don't do, and then who is going to tell us that we have to do them? If we get a job, right, our boss can tell us to come to work, but if we don't go to work, is our boss going to come to our house and drag us out of bed? No, our boss is going to fire us, okay? That's like one example of you have to be the one to do it. Nobody is going to drag you out of bed. They might for a week, right? Like you might have a really good friend, or you might have a parent who wants to like help you, but they're good natured and their character is only going to be lasting for so long, right? Like you have to do it for yourself. Nobody is going to do it for you, and if they do it for you, just know that they absolutely despise you, okay? That's honest truth. So you have to hold yourself in a regard that you have to make yourself do things. You have to be the parent. You have to be the bad guy if you want to be successful in this life. It could be doing something good. It can be doing something bad. And I was failing to hold myself accountable. I keep pushing things off. I keep saying, oh, I'll do that tomorrow. I will wait until next week. I will do it when I have more energy. I'll do it when I'm happier. I'll do it when I'm in a better mood. And I just kind of got fed up with myself. And I think we have to sometimes reach this point in our life where we are fed up with ourselves. And we start looking past the BS and we actually see ourselves for who we are or what bad habit we've picked up that week. And I was just really annoyed with my screen time. I've been here before. I've been annoyed at my screen time before, and I have had like a pretty unhealthy relationship with social media. I love social media. I think it can be good for so many things, but right now in my life, I am trying to set better boundaries. Part of this is because I work from home. I am home at all hours of the day, except for when I make plans or go somewhere or do something. But for the most part, I am at home, and in this environment, you have to be very disciplined. You have to make sure that you're getting your work in. You have to make sure that you're staying on task. You can't just like do whatever you want because you're not in office, right? Like you have to have a level of discipline. And it wasn't even that I was like doing it while I was supposed to be at work. No, it was the other times. It was that I'd become so complacent with just, oh, like I'm done, I might as well move from the desk to the couch. And I guess it's been ongoing with social media, right? Like it is an ongoing battle that has been happening longer than just this. I mean, I was just looking through one of my journals and I remember talking about it 3 years ago or even in college. So this is something that I have had to work on. This is something that I've had to like put a boundary down, and I definitely feel like this is very common, right? And I just felt like I was spending too much time on there. And I remember how good it felt to do a little bit of a cleanse last year or the year previously, if I can remember correctly, and how productive I was. And I feel like with all good things that you take a break from, you do good after a while, and then sometimes you can fall off the bandwagon and you can forget on what you were doing it for in the first place. I felt like I forgot what I was doing it for in the first place. And it was just like Sunday night, and I was so mad, and I was like, you know what, I should have done this previously, but instead, like, I was stuck on my phone and I didn't get it complete, I didn't do it. And so I was like, you know what, it ends here. And I just started deleting things off my phone. One, my phone storage is still so full. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start kicking things off. And I started deleting them one by one. I deleted Facebook, I deleted Snapchat. Listen, I had Snapchat deleted for a very long time. I had re-downloaded it while Garrett was in Texas, so that he like posted deer on his story or whatever, wanted me to look at them. So it was still on my phone. I deleted that, deleted Instagram, I deleted TikTok. The only thing I left was Threads and Duolingo. And if you can count Spotify as social media, because I will say like podcasts are updates on people's lives, it's entertaining, you know. But I was like, you know what? No, I want it to be learning oriented. Threads for me is not, yes, I know it's a form of social media, right? But Threads to me is reading, and my following list is pretty small. I don't follow that many people, and my feed, although I think that there is still some like need for curation on it, they're working out a bunch of kinks. I feel good when I'm on there, and it's not as like stimulating as TikTok, right? It's reading most of the time. Sometimes there's a meme and there's not really any ads, so I'm not being influenced to buy anything because I am trying to get my budget back on track. But I'm like, you know what, this is so good for me to just hang out and read on Threads or Duolingo. I've not done that since the summer of 2020 because it seemed like a fun thing to do. No, I hadn't done Duolingo in so long. I dropped Greek and I started learning Spanish again. I have not done Spanish since high school. It is so good to see I actually learned some stuff in high school, and I know Duolingo is so basic. I know it, and I know it's not going to get me fluent, but it's something that is enriching my mind, and it's going to help it, right? Like it's going to give a little something. So, and then I also have the Kindle app on my phone, and honestly, that's my peak of the week. I've never felt so much better. I felt so good. I've been reading my books. I've been super productive. How else do you think I baked so many pies this weekend? And my house has never been cleaner. I feel so much relief, I guess. And I guess it's crazy. I just want to break. I want to break. I don't want to look at it. I did have to download Messenger because I needed Adriana's bridesmaid dress because her wedding is at the end of September. I'm so excited, but I needed my dress to be hemmed a little bit. So I did have to re-download it because I only knew the woman on Facebook and I had to message her. Other than that, I deleted it. and not getting sucked into looking at other people. And I feel really good. I feel really productive. I have been reading Ellen Hildebrandt's Golden Girl. So far, so good. I'm about halfway through it. I have been doing my lessons in Duolingo, and I don't know, I need some clarity, and I need to be more focused. I have been thinking about years prior. Brody is going to be a freshman in high school. He's my little brother. And then my little sister is going to be a freshman in college. And I am just like putting things in perspective for when I was a freshman in high school and when I was a freshman in college, and thinking about the things that I did, my dreams, my aspirations, and also thinking about what I did day in and day out. You don't realize it, but the mundane really does make up the bulk of your life. And you can sprinkle in activities and trips, right? Like this year, I've had more trips than I've ever had, it feels like. And those can be exciting, right? But what bookends your big trips? Your mundane, your everyday. Like that is what bookends the beginning and afterwards of these big trips. So you have to enjoy the mundane. You have to enjoy the day-to-day life. And I was just thinking, every single main character that I read in a book, or even the main character, say in Gilmore Girls, because that's what I've been watching. I have never watched it before, but it's a great show to put on when I am, running around the house. But even that to a point, I ask myself, these characters in these books or these characters in these movies, what are they doing day in and day out? They're having experiences. They are connecting with one another in person. They're going to the coffee shop. They're talking with each other. They're going for activities and town councils. And I was just thinking, if I could boil down the things that I'm doing in my life, and if I were in a movie, what am I doing day in and day out? What would someone be watching me do? Would they be watching me sit on my phone, scrolling through social media? How boring is that? Oh my gosh, like that's almost embarrassing for me. Like I am embarrassed on how much time I was spending on social media and how much time I could be working on my hobbies or doing the things that I love. The closet to my right literally has so many little hobbies in there. I have thread for embroidery. I have a sewing machine. I have stacks and stacks of jeans for a quilt. I have new fabric. I mean, it's endless. I have crochet hooks. Like there is so much that I love to do. I love to bake. I love to garden. I love to be outside. I love to read my books. There is a little bookshelf in there that has a ton of books I've not got to yet. I love reading books. Like they are so good for the soul and they make you so happy. The book I'm reading right now, Golden Girl, it was listing out what the main character did with her life, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like it puts it in perspective. And I'm like, golly, like when I look back, you don't realize that the good days are actually the mundane things. It's the things that you do every single day that you never thought you would miss until life changes, until you're in a new season, until you're doing new things. And like I had to borrow my pickup from high school. So my dad had bought me a vehicle in high school, very sweet of him. And it is like this green, it's forest green, and it's a 2006 F-250, don't quote me, I'm not a very good car girl, pickup. But when I borrowed this vehicle this past week, my vehicle was in the shop. As I get behind the wheel, I instantly like felt like I was almost in high school. I'm like sitting in this truck and I'm like, golly, when was the last time I drove this thing? And then I instantly was transported back to high school, right? And how many times did I climb into this pickup to go to a game or to pick up Subway because that was the only restaurant we had in our little town, or to drive to Casey's, or to drive to the other gas station, because we had two, drive to the other gas station and get ice cream. Like, how many times did I do that? And it was so simple, right? Like, driving to school every single day, it's part of your mundane habit, but it holds so many memories, right? Like, how many thoughts did I have driving to and from school? It was an 8-minute drive, but how many thoughts did I have? Or how many times did I sit in that pickup after school or after a game or something, and I drive home and I just sat in it for a little bit and think. Sometimes you have to decompress after a big thing or a big day or a long day or a stressful test. Like, you decompress and you just kind of like sit there and you sit in the feeling. And I was like, how many times did my younger self sit in this truck and just think, right? And it didn't matter what was going on at school or at home or whatever, I was driving the pickup, you know? And that was a simple thing, right? Like, you, in high school, I didn't even think about it, right? Like, you don't even think about the things that you do every day mean that much until a new season is here, right? Like, a new episode, a new chapter, a new point in your life where it has shifted and it has changed. And sometimes these are little nudges. It's a little change at first, and slowly you're going down one path and you get nudged a little, and then you get nudged a little bit more and a little bit more, and suddenly you're no longer going north. Now you're going a little bit east. And then maybe something else happens and you're completely turned around and going the other direction, right? Like, there's pivots, there's stops, and we don't realize it until it happens. And I just really want my life to be more of the mundane, but mundane does not mean undisciplined. Me roaming around with my phone and having my screen time, like, at a ridiculous amount, right? Like, just embarrassing to even talk about. Like, I don't want that to be me. I don't want to be glued to my phone. I want to have experiences, and I want to be doing things where I look back and I think, you know what? I didn't waste my 20s because I was out doing things. When the next chapter of my life comes, which it could be here at any minute, I don't want to look back and be like, oh, I had the opportunity and I squandered it. I did not do it. I was spending too much time on the things that didn't matter. If you truly think about, say the last time you're on social media, maybe you're on social media right now as you listen to this episode. I do it all the time, where I'll have something playing in the background and I'll be scrolling on my phone. I will have the hardest time remembering what I just looked at, right? Like, if you stop and think about 4 posts previous to the post that you're on, can you remember what it was? We're not taking the time to process the information. We are scrolling so quickly, we are not letting it digest, and I know my attention span has been shortened, and I've been trying so hard to lengthen it. I've been trying to watch TV. When I'm watching TV, I'm watching TV. There's nothing else on, I'm just watching TV. When I'm reading a book, it can be so hard. I'll want to like shut the book and pick up my phone and then put my phone down and pick up the book again. If I'm reading, I want to be reading. And I get annoyed at myself if I'm like trying to do something else. So for me, I really am just focusing on being more disciplined with my day. I have been implementing hard stops in my day, or hard starts. Like, when this time comes, you have to start. And one of the things I've been doing for a hard start is at 9 o'clock every single day, work day that is, Monday through Friday, I am on my treadmill. This has been so hard, but also so easy at the same time. I know that at 9 o'clock, I need to be walking. I'm walking on my treadmill, I am typing on my computer, I am taking calls as needed. I am in it. I'm gonna walk 9 to 10. If I don't walk 9 to 10, my step count will be horrendous. I will not have enough steps to make my goal of 10 to 15,000. That's my goal. That is my goal every single day. I work so hard to reach over the 10,000. If I can get the 10,000, I'm happy. If I can get closer to the 12 to 13 to 15,000, I am elated. That's where I want to be. That is my sweet spot. That is what I am striving for. That is my goal. But I know I won't be able to reach that goal if I do not get my butt on that treadmill and start walking. That is a hard start for me. I've got to do it. There's no negotiating. I'm on the treadmill. Another hard stop, so that's a hard start. I have to start at 9. A hard stop for me is at 7 o'clock, I will not have my cell phone. I will not be replying to text. I will not be replying to messages. I will not be scrolling. It has been so good for me to get my phone and put it in the other room and leave it alone. It is like cutting an umbilical cord that I didn't even know it had. Like this tether that just keeps me attached to it, where I have to know where it is at all times. I'm like, oh my gosh, where's my phone? Who's messaging me? And I think this boundary has been so good for the expectation to text everybody back immediately. I want to text people back immediately. I want them to know that they are important to me. I want them to know that I care about their message, that I want to get them answered, but I have to set the boundary. And even setting the boundary, I feel bad because what if they actually need me? What if this is their only downtime? But I know for myself, it is way better for my mental health to not have my phone 7 to 9. I try to go to bed at like 9:30. Summertime is always hard for that. I try to soak up the summer as much as possible and be gentle on myself that I did not go to bed at a proper time. If it's like closer to 10 or 10:30, which I know sounds wild, but I want to be an early riser. I want to wake up out of bed, so it's my goal to like go to bed at a reasonable time. And so I've just been really striving for a hard stop. I'm not having my phone when I go to bed. Like I want to have that disconnect, and that has helped me read more books in the evening. Pick up a book, settle down before bed. And also not picking up my phone first thing in the morning is also so good for my mental health instead. And it's hard. Like I won't say this has not been easy. The first thing I want to do is pull open my phone. It has helped that there's no social media apps on my phone except for Threads, but like it's not stimulating like the other ways. And I tried to stay off Threads, but like I had this perfect morning 2 weeks ago where Garrett had left early in the morning to go hunting. He left for Texas. So him and my dad, we had stayed up super late. I think my stepdad had gotten here at like 12:30 in the morning actually. So he had gotten here at 12:30. I was already tired. I had like a long day and I didn't sleep very well the night before because I was just thinking about Garrett leaving, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this time tomorrow he won't be in bed with me. That it gives me a little sleep anxiety. So I didn't sleep well the night before, and I stayed up late, like waiting for them to come to my house, right? So that morning I get up, I wish them off, and I climb back in bed. I'm fully awake, right? Like I'm fully awake, but I pull my book from the nightstand and I open it up and I spend the next 2 hours reading my book in bed. I'm wearing the cutest little pajama set that I picked out because that's also something that I love for my perfect highest self. I love to envision myself in a perfect matching pajama set. That is just, it's cute to me. I love it. Instead of wearing like a baggy t-shirt and I've had like these soft shorts that have a bleach stain on them, and they're actually men's like not boxers, but like they have a fly in the front, okay? I had to throw them out because that is not who my like highest self aligns with. I want the cute matching polka dot pajamas. I have a like face mask right next to my nightstand. I have earplugs. Like I want the most restful sleep possible. And so like that helps me get in the mood, like a little nice outfit. So here I am, I'm propped up in bed and I'm reading a book, and I read for 2 hours. I didn't have anywhere to be. I didn't have anything to do before I started work. And I was up, and I love that. I love the slow morning. I love that I wasn't attached to my phone. I love that I was able to just gracefully get out of bed, and I made myself a coffee, and then I came back to bed and I read a book. That is a perfect morning to me. I absolutely love that. That is a main character energy. That's where I want to be. That's what I want to do. So to do that, I have to go to bed at a certain time. I have to have a hard stop with my cell phone. And I think people are, and I've seen this trend on social media, soft girl era. And I have a few things about the soft girl era. I don't necessarily want to be a soft girl in the way I don't know, because I have conflicting feelings about soft girl era. I love the idea of soft girl era. And you could say me resting in bed, reading my book, and a matching set, like that is definitely soft girl era material. But I don't think that soft girl has to be undisciplined girl. Soft girl doesn't have to not have passions, right? Instead of, because I think people right now are saying that girl and soft girl are conflicting, right? Like a soft girl lets things come to her, and it girl works for it and like hustles for it too hard. I actually would think that I want to be both. I want to be that soft girl, as in I want to have slow mornings, but I want to be intentional with my soft morning. There is a reason that I want to like stay in bed, because when I am relaxing, I want to be relaxed. When I am on and I'm busting and I'm going, like I want to be productive when I'm in that mode. I don't want to be this, I have this intention, I have this goal, but when it feels too hard, I'm gonna slack off. When it feels too hard, I'm gonna hit the snooze button, right? I don't think that soft girl means undisciplined girl. I think she is still working hard for the things that she wants, but she doesn't have the hustle mentality at the forefront. Like she has a little bit more balance, and she's more in touch with her feminine side. That's what I was going with. I feel like sometimes when you're in the hustle mentality, you are in a very, and this might be controversial, because you don't have to be in your masculine, and it doesn't have to be male oriented to succeed in things and to do well. But people say when you are in that hustle, when you are in that grind, you're in like more of your masculine side of yourself than your feminine side. And I think that it can go one or two ways. But for me, when I am wanting a slow weekend, when I'm wanting to bake pies for 7 hours, when I'm wanting to read a book leisurely or pick myself up flowers, or even I have been trying the silicone patches, the silicone patches that prevent against wrinkles. I've been trying them. So I have like my little forehead patch, because my Botox has completely worn off in the middle of my forehead. I want to try it for 1 month. I want to see if the silicone packet, like if it does what it does. I'm all about doing things naturally, but I also love a little Botox, right? So if I have my little Botox, what is it? I can't even think of it. Sorry. It's a silicone patch. Botox alternative. There we go. Botox alternative, a little silicone patch on my forehead. I have my face mask to help hold it on, and I am in my matching pajamas with my little cup of tea before bed or in the morning with my coffee reading a book. when I'm in that energy, I am in that energy. I am not going to be sitting in bed with my little coffee, trying to read my book, and also reaching for my phone, responding to emails, responding to texts, responding to all the people who want something from me. I'm not going to do that. Because when I'm in the mode of I'm relaxing, I'm having this morning to myself, I'm doing it for myself, I'm not going to be distracted by the other things. Now, on the other side, when I am working, when I am grinding, when I am being productive and I'm getting shit done, you know what I'm not doing? I'm not scrolling through social media as I'm trying to be productive. I'm not taking a break from my work to read my book really quick. I'm not taking a break from my work, from my, on the ball, rolling, getting things done. I'm not going to stop and, go lay in bed. I'm not going to do that, or any other distraction, right? Like when I am in we're getting stuff done energy, I'm going to be in that energy. When I am in the healing girl energy, I'm in that energy. And I just want my days to have structure in a way that allows me to be completely free to just focus on that thing. So if I have a hard start time, I'm going to do it. And it allows me to just do it and to just focus on that. 9 to 10, I'm walking. At 7 p.m., I'm putting my phone away. And these silly little rules can be whatever you make it of, and it can help you get on track and stay with your goals, or help you become more mindful of where you are spending your time and what you are doing. So your weekend doesn't always have to be super rushed around, working a second job, trying to make extra money, but it also doesn't have to mean sleeping until 1 p.m. and getting up and gaming, watching TV, or doing any of the things. You have to create your perfect life. You have to reimagine how you want it to look. And when you're doing these mundane things, right, like walking every day, there's going to be a time where I might not get my 9 to 10 walk because I might have a job somewhere else. I'm not working from home. Or I might have a child who's taking away like my time and my energy. So many things can happen, and you don't know how good you have it or how good your routine is until it's taken away or until you make another choice. So whatever routine you have, whatever you have been doing that has been giving you so much joy, or maybe even the things that aren't giving you joy, know that it won't last forever. So that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing, right? Like if you are absolutely hating your routine, because I will tell you this time last year, I was hating my routine. I was hating everything about it. I was disgusted. I was mad at myself, and I didn't know what to do. I felt trapped, and I felt like there's no answers in sight. And it was the little nudges and it was the little changes that have brought me to my new routine and my new things. That doesn't mean that there aren't parts of my previous version of myself that I don't miss. But I do know that the only way to progress and move forward is to move forward. It's to welcome the new things that come in your life, and welcome the new routines, and welcome the new activities or hobbies or inspiration or aspirations that you might pick up along the way. So I am fully going to be invested in the soft girl era, but I think that there needs to be a more balanced girl era. I want to be balanced. I want to not feel guilty about taking time for myself. I want to instead embrace the time for myself, and also embrace the time where I have to be a helping hand to someone else, right? Because if you're feeling resentful, like, oh, they've taken all my time, then you're not going to be the highest version of yourself. You're not going to be the best version of yourself. So welcome those routines. I know I am. I'm about to go take a shower and get in my matching pajamas to enjoy my evening, right? Like these little habits, these little rituals, that is what makes up your life, the mundane, the every single day. And guess what? You get to be in control of them. You are in control of your life and can change them at any single time. I am just happy that you have the golden hour drip in your routine. So thank you so much for listening. Be sure to like, subscribe, and shoot me a comment. If you're on YouTube, oh my gosh, give me all the comments, give me all the things. And send it to a friend that you might think needs a little encouragement for their mundane life. But that is it for this week's episode, and I'll see you in the next one.